process that's part of the purpose in life is for us to continue to grow and to improve, and I think so that we can inspire other people to do the same.
Yes.
And so if we,
and be yourself. Like that was one thing that I struggled with because I was really big on hiding because of weight, because just a whole bunch of stuff, just not feeling just very secure in myself. And one day it was just like the fear that I had about stepping out, it was just superseded where the drive, like I have to do this, I have to do something, I have to do it. So I don't know what I'm doing. I have no, and not to be in a bad sense where I did not have an idea, I had a vision, but it's the details.
Right.
Like, well, what did I do here and how? Okay, well, I'm just gonna go.
You just go with the flow.
Yeah,
you go with the flow.
and it's been
Sometimes
a beautiful, it's a beautiful love affair. It's been a trusting process, but I get to be myself.
Yeah, that's huge. And you've said that about 4 times. So getting to be yourself, is huge.
It's a huge thing.
Yes.
Like, be yourself.
Yeah, I mean, because there's such a weight that's put on you when you are trying to be somebody else or trying to put on a whole different persona for the purposes of pleasing other people.
Right.
And it's, at some point you start to wonder, well, wait, can people not be pleased just by who I am?
Just being
just by
me.
who I am.
And that was like this was a major learning lesson for me as I, again, stepping into SOAR, what is SOAR about, allowing the concept to just flow through me. Like, what is it that I'm really sharing? Because again, if I'm a woman here struggling, and I say struggle with these things and have the challenges and not seeing the opportunities in them, I know other women are doing it.
Right.
And I know other women are saying, okay, but if, going back and forth, and it's just like, just take that step.
Yeah, yeah.
Just take the step. And it's just like, it's a beautiful love affair when you do that. That's a part of loving on yourself with today's concept.
Right.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
that's so good. That's so good. So you will see Danelle Porcher on the show, quite a few times over the next couple of months. And we're partnering to try to help push the SOAR movement,
as well as the live. I mean, you have a awesome platform, and that's when I came the last time. I was just like, I really want to be a part of her and what she has to offer. So can she just allow me to be in her space? And I don't know, we build from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I've been loving it, and I love radio. I love the rapport with it. So yeah.
Well, that's great. That's great. So I encourage you all to come out this Sunday if you're in the Atlanta area to
Synchronicity Theater, and it starts 1 p.m. Again, there's vendors. The performance, now we run on theater time. So when I say 3 p.m., we start on 3 p.m. and it's about an hour and 15-minute show. So yeah, come enjoy food, education, demonstrate everything. So
love it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back with some trending topics. Stay with us on the Live Exchange.
We're more connected than ever before. 90% of America's students use some form of social media, but not all of it's used in a good way. Hurtful posts online are leading to social isolation for many. Psychologists say it's bullying in a brand new way. Well, Beyond Differences and I Keep Safe are looking to change that with ideas for students, their parents, and even teachers. Take the pledge to be kind online and learn more at wearekindonline.com.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You've accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Marie Callender's knows that you may not have time to roll out dough for a perfectly flaky crust that's made from scratch. Or enough time to mix vegetables with all white meat chicken and a homemade gravy. She knows you may not have a moment to crimp the edges of your favorite chicken pot pie, but Marie Callender's does. And when she's done, all you need to do is find time to grab someone special, sit down, and savor. Marie Callender's, it's time to savor.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge?
Got to get this all straightened out. Keep a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve. It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend?
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Primary election. Lack of diversity. Gas prices.
Michael Jackson. Trending topics.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. And today's trending topics, well, there's two that I'm going to highlight today. One that I didn't know about last week, and I don't know when this actually got implemented. I think it was last Friday, so it was after last week's show.
Okay.
But the NFL met, and they basically needed to make a decision about whether or not they are going to force players to kneel during the national anthem. And do you know what their decision was?
What was their decision?
Drum roll. Most of you already know, but I'm a little late. But the decision was that they are not going to require players to kneel during the national anthem.
Yeah, and I was about to be real upset about that because, again, I said at some point, again, I feel like it's getting away from the root of why this was even done, the kneeling, just everything. And I'm just like, how are you going to make somebody?
Right.
I'm just like, no.
It's not even constitutionally supported to make somebody.
Right.
So but the NFL did acknowledge that they are concerned about what their players are concerned about, and that they want to get to the root of the problem. They acknowledge that it was about police brutality.
Okay.
And that they want to have conversations with the players about what, about their concerns about the issue, that's a huge step forward.
That is a huge, it's for me, I've always said just consider, use the word consideration just for a moment that someone might be having an alternative experience than what you are having.
Exactly.
Just consider it.
Right.
Right. So I think that's a beautiful love affair.
Yes. I love it. That's great. And so the second story is Colin Kaepernick.
Okay.
Like I said, I've talked about him like every single week on the show. But he just signed $1 million book deal with Random House.
And see, he's all right. Everybody was worried about how is he going to make some money, stuff like that. But I think, when you rise to an occasion, you never know what the outcome will be. And sometimes it comes with the challenges and, I don't even know what I'm doing. And, okay, I really didn't intend on it coming out this way.
Right.
And just look at another opportunity in the scenario.
But I have faith that in moving through with my purpose and moving through what I've been called and compelled to do, there's going to be a positive outcome as a result.
And you will be taken care of.
You'll be taken care of.
Ain't that crazy?
Yeah.
It's a crazy concept now. When you in it, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
But I'm very, that is so inspiring to hear that, and that he can still be on his way as far as, sharing some other truths.
Yeah.
So.
Now, $1 million probably isn't what he would get if he were signed to an NFL team. He'd get more than that. But
$1 million?
But that's something, and he's
I could do a lot with $1 million. Please sling that my way, please.
Right.
$1 million.
I'll take $1 million big deal. I'll take $1 million. And so it's actually by a company that just started last year, a publisher.
Wow.
Just opened last year.
Yeah.
And they actually specialize in taking celebrities as, so they must have had a nice overhead as a startup business.
You ain't lying. Or somebody who knows the business, because knowing the details of the business is very beneficial, to say the least.
Absolutely.
So $1 million, come visit me, company. Okay, I got some things to share as well. Okay,
right. So one of the things that you had mentioned, and we were talking about covering love as today's topic.
Yeah.
You mentioned love identity, and I would love for you to elaborate and just kind of give our listeners an idea of what you mean by that.
Okay, what did I mean by that? Because again, I'm a poet at heart. Actually, I love to sing, but a poet at heart, and I love just metaphors and analogies. So for me, it was just like when we decided to like talk about it, I was just like, well, for me, what has been love up until this point, and what have I defined it as? And so for me, it's like, how do you identify love in its presence? Or when do you know that you're simply just loving on yourself? So what is love's identity? Because again, everybody's has a different just meaning and interpretation of it, but there's a common theme at the end of the day. So what is the identification of love? Like, what does it look like? And for me, I had recently in the past written something about it, and so I went back to revisit. I'm just like, well, do I feel like this right now? But I consider love identity as this cyclic being. It's this entity. So I don't know, because somebody else might have a different interpretation. So that's why love identity, what is it? What is it for you? What is it, to you? What is its meaning? Right. Have you even sat down to even consider what love is?
Yeah.
Because sometimes we're just going with our life, and we have interpretations of people who have shared with us, our family, friends, stuff like that. But what is your... How do you identify love when it presents itself?
Yeah, that's
for
really
yourself good. And for others that you encounter. So,
well, some people like to characterize love by what we see on social media. Look, he proposed, or they're on a cruise, or that's love.
Yeah, yeah.
And so our understanding of what it is has really been has shifted.
I mean,
due to a lot of imagery of love, a lot of representations of love, but not necessarily love itself.
I think of it as a superficial thing right now. We're like coating it over. And again, when I think of love, like love for me 4 or 5 years ago is different from now because it's evolved. And again, it's because of the work that I'm doing. I'm deciding, the choices that I'm making. And again, really understanding what love is for me first. How do I even love on myself?
Yeah.
Let alone somebody else coming in the picture. What is it for me? And being able to be sound in that to where it's actually supportive and it's nurturing. And again, it gets me to a space of where I'm constructing in my life where it looks like love.
Right,
you know?
Yeah.
And we don't take the time to do that, especially in our society now. I'm doing a general blanket, but it's one of those things where, do you know without a shadow of a doubt what love is for you right now in this present moment? And most times people don't.
Yeah.
They don't.
And I would love for those of you who are listening, if you have an idea of how you define love, share that with us. Share that with us. We're on Facebook Live on the Sensation Station Network page, as well as you can call 678-613-5857 or text 678-613-5857. I would love to know what your definition of love is, because we'll include that in the show.
Exactly.
And I know that for me, it always has to do with peace of mind. And I know that there are ups and downs and challenges when it comes to love, but at the end of the day, can I find peace in whatever has happened?
I totally get that. To piggyback on what you're saying, yours is peace. For me, it's in addition to peace, it's a kindness. There's a gentleness there. And you find it in everything that you do, whether you're angry, upset, or at peace and quiet. There's just something that is kind and gentle when it comes. Because in this moment, I don't know if I really still understand everything that comes with love. And the definition of it.
I don't know if we ever can.
Yeah, it's parts and pieces. So for me, it's like a kindness and gentleness I experience when presented with love. So, in everything, as the whole of me, not parts of me, but just the whole of me. I come and I'm just like, oh, you can still be gentle and kind with me, with myself, as well as when I present myself and I might be upset that day or angry.
Yeah. Well, and I think that people teach each other how to be gentle and kind with each other.
Definitely.
And so, we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get through the show. But stay with us. Think about what love is for you. Yeah. And we're going to talk about what the research says about love and what we think love is. So stay with us. We'll be right back on the Live Exchange.
Hi, I'm Viola Davis. Did you know that 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger? Growing up, I was one of those kids. But we can solve this. When we make breakfast happen for kids in our neighborhood, we have the power to end childhood hunger, create bigger, brighter school days, and healthier minds and bodies. Go to hungeris.org and lend your time or your voice.
We're hungry for more.
A message from the Albertsons Companies Foundation and the Entertainment Industry Foundation.
Our freedom and security are made possible through the service and sacrifice of our military and first responders. The Gary Sinise Foundation provides many outreach programs supporting these brave men and women. Join us. Donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Keep a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it, and it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He guide us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
In the interest of science. 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 Science.
All right. So today's science comes from my book. My book.
She has a book.
Yes, I have a book. It's upcoming. It's called Secrets of the Obsessed, and Walking the Path of Purpose is the tagline. So I talk about love in this book, and one of the, elements is, self-awareness, and self-awareness requires self-love.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So in order to really be able to delve deeply inside of yourself to understand all of these different intricate parts of who you are, you can't be repelled by that. You can't be disgusted with yourself. You can't be, not wanting to get intimate with yourself. You have to be willing to love yourself to do that. So we hear a lot about self-love, and we have a lot of assumptions about whether or not somebody they love themselves, right?
Right.
So we'll see somebody who maybe, is in an abusive relationship, for example, and we'll assume that because they're in that abusive relationship, that they must not love themselves. Oh, yeah, she can't love herself if she's in that abusive relationship, or he really doesn't love himself. And we'll also assume that because somebody's having a hard time in life. But I actually challenge that notion because I think that there are layers to self-love. I think that, there's that deep self-love, and I think that's the self-love that everybody talks about and that everybody says, oh, yeah, they really love themselves. But sometimes the circumstances in our lives don't necessarily allow us to manifest the love in the way that we think it should be manifested all the time. So I'll tell you what those layers are. The first layer is superficial self-love. Okay. So this is what this is I love myself enough to fake it until I really can get there. So I don't really have a full I'm all in love with myself kind of thing, but I know that I need to.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go through the motions, and I'm going to take care of myself, and but I'm not really feeling it, but I'm going to just kind of, practice self-love. So you may have haters, who are just, they love it when you fail. And even though when you failed, you're down on yourself and you're kicking yourself like, dang, why did I do that? You're not going to let your haters see that.
Exactly.
I mean, at least I hope not. And so you're going to fake it. You're going to be like, you know what? I'm good.
You know what? What's so interesting about how this superficial love, you said something about feeling. And I look at that as where, I'm not going to allow myself to feel my way through this. So it truly is superficial. Yeah. I'm going to think my way through this.
Yes.
But I can't feel it right now because, again, that would actually be too traumatic or too much. Right. Because I really feel that that's where, again, the other layers that you're going to. So, yeah.
No, but that's good. That's good. And I have had, so with my first book, Letters to the Brokenhearted, I've had people tell me, I am in the trenches of heartbreak right now, but I cannot read your book right now because it is just it's ripping me wide open.
Yeah.
I just can't. And so I've had them come back a year later and said, okay, so I was able to read it now and I'm good and I can handle it. So sometimes, the feelings are just too intense.
Right.
The feelings of inadequacy or the feelings of fear and doubt. And so sometimes you just have to fake your way through it until you get, and I've had moments like that where I'm like, I know I'm supposed to be loving myself. I know I'm supposed to be thinking differently about this situation. Right. I am in woe is me mode, but I have to just pull myself up and get out of woe is me mode and just at least pretend to love myself until I get there.
And sometimes I look at that as that practice.
Yeah.
Let's practice. I might not be feeling it right now, but I'm gonna at least practice it.
Yes.
Until I actually live it or it's integrated or I embrace it.
Right.
Just a little bit of it.
Right.
But to just practice that.
And it allows you not to be so hard on yourself when you're in that phase because most of the times, again, they say, well, you must not love yourself. Well, if you understand what this phase is that you're in, you're like, you know what, but I'm working on it.
And that is a part of like a self-care tactic. Yeah. Actually, if you look at it in a positive, constructive, as an opportunity. Exactly. Hey, I can be kind enough to be like, okay, I'm not feeling this right now, but I'm gonna pretend like I love myself and I'm actually gonna practice it until I actually believe it. So I get that.
And guess what the people around you are going to do when you start practicing self-love? They're going to, put that onto you too. They're going to love you too. So
because you teach
it's contagious. Yeah. So that's the first one.
Okay.
The next one is survivalist self-love.
Survivalist.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is where I am in a very intense situation. Maybe I am in an abusive relationship.
Okay.
And I have to love myself enough to get out of this situation. I have to love myself enough to put myself in a safe place.
Right.
If you don't love yourself enough to do that, the consequence can be death.
It is.
Yeah.
That is so profound because to survive, for me, that's also another form of love, like you're sharing. And so it's just like I have to make a way because right now the situation that I'm in, it is no longer serving my purpose. I don't know necessarily what to do. Right. I don't necessarily where to go. I just know that I need to find an exit. So that is a form of love.
Yeah. Yeah. And we don't recognize that as such.
Yeah, because it gets you to a place of action. Like I've realized here, again, no judgment. And many times we're self-criticizing. Yeah. We're judging ourselves. We're self-criticizing. How did I do this? How did I get here? Stuff like that. And it's just like that is the worst time to have that.
Yeah.
And it's like really being a place of love and kindness, gentleness, peace, and be like, okay, I got to make my way out.
Yes.
I got to make a way out.
I need an exit plan.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, and it doesn't necessarily even mean that you're actively engaged in that exit plan, but that you have at least adopted the mindset that, okay, I need to survive this. I need to, figure out what I need to do. I mean, so sometimes, we get frustrated because people aren't taking action, Well, why don't you just leave the situation? Or why don't you just this? Or why don't you just that?
Yeah.
And sometimes it just takes time for people. So that time space is the survivalist self-love. This is, I'm aware that I am in survival mode and I'm doing what I have to do, to stay alive.
No, and I just recently read something where it says acknowledgement is the first, like that's the most important thing ever,
right,
is to acknowledge what it is that's going on, because again, that's where, you're truly, you're woke, and you're just like, okay, now I'm assessing my area.
Yep.
I know where I'm at now. Okay, now I need to.
And while you're assessing, the people who are outside judgmental might say, "What's she doing? Why isn't she?" She's assessing,
right?
And of course we want it to happen more quickly, but that is what survival mode is, So I am fighting to stay alive. This is a survivalist self-love.
Yes.
And it's not always abusive relationships. It could be a terrible job that's just eating away at your core.
Yes.
So there are different ways.
Yeah. And to find the love even in that, because again, it's a form of dishonor, disrespect, because that's what you've been doing, or this is what you have made believe that you've had to do for so long.
Right.
And that's the greatest thing, because once again, you're aware, you're in survival. It's like, okay, let's make something happen. Let's make a plan or do something.
I need to live. I have a purpose. I need to live.
Yeah.
That's the survival. So the next one is romantic self-love.
Okay.
So we love romance, right? We love romance. Romance, the honeymoon period, oh, he's so cute, she's so cute, they're so cute, whatever.
Right.
I'm buying flowers, I'm telling you you're cute, all of that honeymoon period. And that's because we feel a certain way. Now our feelings have kicked in, and we are all in our feelings.
Exactly.
So it is an infatuation with ourselves. So I guess the analogy for ourselves, or the commonality for ourselves, is I just lost a whole lot of weight, and I'm loving my look. I love my look right now. I am in love with myself.
Yeah.
And I am in the mirror. I'm buying a new wardrobe. I'm treating myself. That is romantic self-love. It's conditional. It's conditional because it's about the circumstances. It's about what's happening. And it's not that it's a bad thing, because it's, it's a good thing. It's a motivator, but it's not unconditional.
That's so interesting. All these different forms of love.
Yeah.
Because again, my question out there, and even to myself, where am I in that?
Yeah.
Am I the survivalist?
Right.
Am I the romantic right now?
Yeah.
Or is it superficial?
I remember right after my divorce was my romantic phase, and I felt like I'm starting a new life. I got a brand new job. I did lose a whole lot of weight. I started putting muscle. I had some arms, like, woo! I was feeling myself, and so that was definitely a romantic love. But what I was very specific about in that time was translating that over into a deeper love, and making sure that wasn't just temporarily. So if I gained the weight back, I wasn't back to, but that I can still have a love for myself regardless of the circumstances.
I'm just wondering, because again, you have made mention that being conditional. So when is it that we are in an unconditional state of mind when it comes to love?
Yeah, and that takes us to the last level, which is the deep self-love. So deep self-love is not dependent upon how much weight I lost or the new job that I got or these great new opportunities. Certainly there's a space to rejoice in all of that.
Right.
But deep self-love is really coming to a place where I understand my purpose. I know why I'm here, and I find love in that purpose.
Yeah.
And that purpose is unshakable. It's there regardless. So you find your love, that love is rooted in your purpose.
Right.
And what it is you're here to do. And you realize that I have been chosen for this. This is who I am, and the gifts and talents that I have are what's leading to this. And so it creates a deep love.
Yeah, I think that's where that connection to where you're feeling now. I think that's what mine. So it's because the other ones is okay, you're feeling, but I'm gonna move in and out of feeling and thinking. Now I'm gonna stay in this state because again, now I know myself, which is again I feel as far as the identity is concerned of love. This is another characteristic.
Right.
I know myself.
And you're and it's beyond feeling. It's an embodiment. You're embodying the love.
Yeah.
And so it's a whole different. So I would love to talk about where different phases in our lives and how that may have impacted where we were in each of those layers.
Definitely.
So I want you all to think about that too. Where are you in the self-love journey?
Where are you?
We're going to talk about that a little bit more when we come back. So stay with us on the Live Exchange.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge?
Got to get this all straightened out. Keep a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend?
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Viola Davis. Did you know that 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger? Growing up, I was one of those kids. But we can solve this. When we make breakfast happen for kids in our neighborhood, we have the power to end childhood hunger, create bigger, brighter school days, and healthier minds and bodies. Go to hungeris.org and lend your time or your voice.
We're hungry for more.
A message from the Albertsons Companies Foundation and the Entertainment Industry Foundation.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on 2 things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
And so a new American industry has been born.
Sensation Station Network.
Keeping your balance with Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela.
Okay, so this week's Balance Challenge, I think you all probably can guess what it might be.
Okay.
I want you to love yourself this week. So, of course, we have all these ways that we love ourselves, and I want you to come up with something different this week. What are you going to do differently this week to demonstrate love for yourself? Whether that means to just take some time to yourself and enjoy that peace and quiet. For some people, you have peace and quiet all the time, and you're like, I need something else. What is it that is going to pour? How are you going to pour love onto yourself this week? So that's my challenge for you. I have to think about what I'm going to do this week differently. I'm not sure.
You're not sure? Mm-mm. Well, I know what I had to make a decision. So in the planning of the SOAR Celebration of Friends, like as of yesterday, I said I'm no longer involved in the business. So now I'm in performance mode.
Okay.
So
there you
again,
go.
that was a self-love tactic because in the past, being around other performers, entertainers, and stuff like that, I saw the benefit in, okay, at some point I will no longer be involved in the business.
Right.
There will be somebody else taking care of that, and at least 3 or 4 days out, hey, I get to be the performer and actually be a vessel so that I can pour. So that was a loving tactic. So it's stuff like that.
I love that.
That support.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think, and that transition is an amazing transition to be able to just sit back and,
Yes, because it's multiple hats. And shout out to Twintastics. They're the ones that are event planning for Sunday, and it's one of those things where I used them last year, I'm using them this year, and it's beneficial because I've seen where people have been stressed out, those who are like very vital in my life, and they're out there being artists and stuff like that, and they still trying to do everything. I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna pay for that. I'm gonna pay for that. So.
And yes, and there are some things I do not mind paying for, because exactly. Exactly. I think if I were to choose a self-love strategy for this week, it would be to ask for something that I actually want. I tend to be a control freak, so if I want something, I'll just make it happen.
I recognize that. I recognize.
Yes. And I just, instead of just asking for what it is I want, if I, and being okay with the answer is no. But just being willing to ask for it, because I'm surprised. I always surprise myself when I actually ask for it, how easy it was to ask for it, and how it actually can be done.
Yeah.
So, and then I mean things like I have, a team for Tandem Light Press and for the Academy of Creative Coaching, and I tend to just handle it all myself. I'll just do this. And I'm like, well, gosh, I have a team for a reason.
That's why they're there.
Right.
That's why they're there. Yeah.
Ask, and every time I ask, they have followed through above and beyond. And so that's something that I'm going to make it a point this week to do, is ask for something that I want.
Yeah.
Maybe not necessarily even from the team, but from any, somebody in my life who I care for or whatever. But just being willing to ask.
I think and that's where the practice comes in, because again, this is a form of love.
Right.
And to go further than that, because I recognize the control thing, but for me, it was like, as I continue, as you shared your experience right now, it's just like there was a fear behind mine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
and not asking. And I had to really, really look at that. I'm still looking at that to seeing where the root is. Like, why won't I ask?
Yeah.
Or why I'm not comfortable in asking. Like, why do I feel like I have to just control everything? So
right.
I recognize it.
And that's a really great thing to dig into. And I think one of the things that that I've also written about was the blind spots that we have, and we don't always realize why we behave in the way we do, and why these certain patterns keep happening.
Yeah.
And I think that is indicator of a blind spot. And what is it that, and sometimes we have to dig deep and go back and find out, okay, what happened, and when we dig into some of those traumatic experiences that we've had, or some of the negative experiences that we've had that may not measure all the way up to trauma, but still a negative experience, that's often where those blind spots are rooted. So if we can dig into those and find out, okay, what beliefs did that experience formulate in me that's adding to this behavior of
good
mine?
stuff.
Yeah.
Some good stuff.
Okay, we're going to break. We'll be right back on the Live Exchange.
Your health is at stake. Diabetes.
Diabetes, cancer, heart disease. Yeah, right. I'm too young to worry about all of that. Or am I? Millions of Americans are being diagnosed younger and younger each year. I guess it's really no surprise with how much our lifestyles have changed. More fried fast foods, extreme stress from work. 176 million people in North America consume unhealthy drinks. I know I do. Who could be next? My brother? My sister? Me? I think it's time to make a difference, and so should you. Extreme X2O alkaline water, designed to cleanse your body with just 2 simple steps: shake and wait. Not only will it help clean your kidneys, liver, and intestines, but it also helps with weight loss and anti-aging. Sign me up today. AbundantLifeMovement.com. I better go call my sister to let her know about this. You should really tell a friend too, because is it really going to kill you to shake and wait?
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and I'm joined by Danelle Porcher. We're talking about love, and so in the research I just talked about, my multidimensional model of self-love, and we have 4 layers, and just to review them really quickly, we have the superficial self-love, survivalist self-love, romantic self-love, and deep self-love. So now I'm going to ask you the question. You don't have to tell us where you are now. I'll let you decide that. But do any of these jump out at you as, yeah, I definitely remember being in that particular place?
All of them. No,
okay.
All of them. I honestly believe right now I'm in a space of the unconditional, the deep love.
Okay.
Because of me stepping out right now, because of trusting this process and still being able to find a love for myself in it. Because there's times I have moved in, even in saying yes to this, where forms of the conditional. Well, because this didn't show up this way, I start beating myself up, and I'm just like, okay, now you're in a space of conditions. But even in like personal relationships with friends, intimate, it's been one of those things is I too have been that superficial, or it's been conditional. With me dropping weight, for example, at some point I discovered that the love that I was existing in when I was doing the CrossFit and yes, I'm working out and I'm getting small and I'm getting toned and I'm healthy, but it was based off of conditions, things that I had experienced in my past. My view on weight, how my family viewed weight, how, being bullied because I was overweight, where that led me up to a point of how I was working out. It was based off conditions. It was not loving.
Right.
So this go around, it's where I'm wanting to discover a different space as far as it being unconditional, how I care for myself.
Right.
So it's been all 4 layers. Just to visit a few or a couple.
Well, 2 points. First of all, deep self-love is a mastering of the former 3 layers. So it's really all of them operating together, but on top of that, you've got this unconditional thing happening. So if you ever have to move back into a survivalist love, you're able to do that, know. And so because there's going to be things that happen in our lives that kind of push us into those different places.
Oh, okay.
So, but the other thing is, when in coaching, we talk a lot about the reason why you're motivated to do what you're doing. And so when you're saying that your motivation wasn't necessarily rooted in love, that is one of the things we look at as coaches in our clients is, okay, but what's the root motivation for this?
Right.
So, you want to lose weight, but what's your reason?
Right.
And in our training, in our coach training program, we talk about, if the reason is rooted in a self-hate or insecurity or a fear, then it's not going to be as sustainable as a purpose that's rooted in, I really love myself and I want to be at optimal health.
And that is so such a testament to what I just shared, because I'm in a space now where, again, I want it to be out of a love, not out of a fear or frustration, not out of self-criticism. And what I'm finding as I'm getting coached myself personally, it's like, I find it where I'm having a challenge as it being more taxing. Where it was easier when it was like, okay, I'm doing this on this condition. Like, okay, well, I have to meet this certain standard or whatever.
Goal, as opposed to it being a life change.
Exactly. And it's like a great awareness for me. But now it's ushering me into a space where, okay, well, what is my new meaning on this? That's and that's again an act of love, because again I'm being kind, I'm being gentle, and I'm just like, okay, what will be my new meaning around this, and what will drive me now?
Right.
So it's I love the layers, because I'm just like, I've visited like all 4 layers. Yeah. So,
and I'm sure as my research continues, there other layers may emerge. I mean, right now this is what I've found to date. But as with every theory, they evolve over time, and who knows? There may be 4 more layers. Who knows?
Oh, yeah. It's even with the superficial layer. Like, I'm really might have to be in the superficial layer come Sunday, because they going to have me in a cat suit. And I ain't too fond of no cat suits, especially where I'm at now. But again, it's about the premise. It's what it is that I'm wanting to share. It's what it is that Project Light is wanting to share at SOAR. So it's like, again, all right, I might be a little bit faking it, but not much, because at the end of the day, I can get over it. But I'm just like, again, that another example in my life, that the layers I'm moving in and out of and existing as. So that's good stuff.
I love it. I love it. Okay, well, we are going to get into Love Notes.
Love Notes with Dr. Pamela.
Okay, so today's Love Notes are brought to you by BBLA Cosmetics. BBLA Cosmetics, they did this. They did this.
Dr. Pamela
They
is
highlighted
rocking that
the purple.
fan.
Yes, I love it. Purple's my favorite color. So they hooked it up. They hooked it up. So go check them out. They are currently in the Sugarloaf Mall, but they are also at BBLAcosmetics.com. So check them out. They do a really good job. So today's letter comes from Crystal. And she says, Dear Dr. Pamela, where is the line between self-love and just being flat out arrogant and conceited? I have a friend, and she put friend in quotes. I have a friend who seems to have crossed this line, and it is causing me to want to pull away from that friendship. I've noticed that other people in our circle seem to have an issue with her too. Should I tell her, or should I just leave it alone? Crystal.
Oh, Crystal.
That's interesting. I've seen this happen. I don't know that it was that they instantly turned arrogant. There was always some evidence of that
already there.
That was already there in the cases that I have seen. That's an interesting question, and I think that if somebody is arrogant, that might mean that it's difficult to communicate with them about their arrogance.
Yeah.
So,
I have to understand exactly what arrogance is, because again, it's like now where I am tiptoeing into this self-love and exploring and discovering and remembering just what the self-love looks for me and that support looks like to me. It's one of those things, I look at arrogance where it's just you're not considerate of others,
right,
or in your environment around yourself, to where again, when you begin to love and really understand the love for yourself and what that looks like for you, it's actually a nurturing you first. But then it's the ability to be able to show up for others as well as you're in that act.
Right.
I don't know, maybe that's
I
how...
think that love inherently results in love for other people.
Right.
Self-love inherently leads to love for others.
Yeah.
Now, if you're at superficial love, if you're at survivalist lovers might be trying to get other people out of their circle in survival mode.
Yeah.
So I think those other levels, maybe not so much, but when you get to deep love, I'm thinking you're in deep love because you understand your purpose, and I can't imagine a purpose that has nothing to do with loving and nurturing other people.
Exactly. And to Crystal, I ask you, what parts of you where are you struggling with arrogance? Because for me, or at least what my understanding as far as people who are in our lives, what is it that you see about you in the whole dynamics of the rapport or the relationship that you have?
Yeah.
Not saying that you're arrogant, but there's something that's really triggering you, and it's just like, what is it about her? Because at the end of the day, she's going to be her.
So what is about her that's a mirror image of Crystal?
Of Crystal.
Now that's an interesting question.
Yeah, because again, it's just where I'm at to my understanding at this point. You're a friend to her, and I'm assuming that it's been a great while of friendship. So what is it actually sharing about you in the dynamics that you guys have? And is she at a point to where she can actually receive anything if you know your friend well?
Yeah.
Can she
and
receive it?
I wish Crystal were sitting here, because I've got all kinds of questions too.
Exactly.
And I know her first question is, what's the line between self-love and being flat out arrogant and conceited? And I think you answered that well. When you said that it's about people not caring about other people.
I can't connect.
Yeah.
I don't know. Somebody share with me, because that's how I see arrogance.
I think so too. I think you hit it on the head.
Yeah.
I absolutely think so too. And then so that was one of her questions, and then the other was, should she just leave it alone? Well, I think you said introspection, maybe in order. Do some introspection.
Yeah.
Find out what's going on with you.
Yeah.
And then, if it's unhealthy, if it's to the point where it's inhibiting your progress, your peace of mind, your ability to self-love, then, maybe you do need to leave it alone. But then again, ask the question, why is it inhibiting your ability to self-love?
Why is it? And it's just like, again, people come in and out of our lives to serve a purpose.
Yes.
And, it's one of those, there's a reason why you joined her hip to hip. You consider her a friend for a reason.
This is true.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. That is very interesting. Well, and and the other thing that I've been saying a lot in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, low energy responses. There's some things that just don't require a lot of energy in your response. If somebody is coming at you, and I had somebody come at me on social media recently.
Oh, really?
Really upset, inboxed me, and I chose a low energy response. I just said, you know what? My bad. Or you're right. Or, I didn't lie, so I don't know that I said you're right.
Let me
but I acknowledged how they felt.
Yeah.
And it cooled them off like right away.
Yeah.
They were and so it's like, you know what? Low energy responses when necessary. So if this person is overly arrogant, choose the level of which you're going to respond to them.
I agree
Don't
with
spend
that.
a lot of energy on it when it's not necessary.
Because if you accept somebody, and again, this is another form of love, accept them as a whole.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. We'll be right back.
And so a new American industry has been born.
Sensation Station Network.
You got to play this song on Sunday. Welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and we are at the top of the second hour. We are talking about love, and lately we've been talking about self-love, but we're talking about love overall, and I'm joined by Danelle Porcher of SOAR.
Yes, with 3 S's. SOAR with 3 S's.
SOAR with 3 X's. I like extending this.
Yes.
I love it. So we've been, we were just talking about Crystal, who asked us about her friend who seems to be becoming increasingly arrogant, and that other people are noticing this as well. And so, and I think there's a line, though. I think when you were saying, sometimes you just have to accept the whole person.
Yeah.
Everybody isn't meant to be accepted. I mean, that's what's coming through my mind right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say that but there are people that we do need to just say goodbye to.
And that I agree with that. Some people you have to be in the self-evaluate at every point in your life, because there's a coined phrase that they say in the church where you so spiritual you ain't no earthly good, and it can be very can be very applicable to love. Right. And I feel that your friend is she's really in the act of love, but it's to a point where now you can't even connect with other people, and you cannot even build rapport with other people, or there's something that's there where you are over exerting in the area of love. I don't know, but the arrogance thing, you're now not connecting to other people,
right?
So
and I think if you, like I said, if you're at those other layers, again, it's not a bad thing if you're in the romantic stage or if you're in the survival stage. It's the purpose of it is so you can recognize where you are, so that you can aspire to get deeper. And so I think that when people are in that deep phase, they are less inclined to shun other people or be irritated by other people's actions. They are in their own zone, and they find that love in the other person to focus on. If you have love within yourself, you figure out where is that area of love in that person that I can hone in on, that I can focus on.
Oh yeah. I just, if you, it's because I've seen what arrogant people look like, and I'm just like, okay, but at some form, that's an arrogance that's there because again, there's been hurt somewhere.
Yeah.
And so, I'm not gonna say it's not love, is love. But for me, it's like there's a hurt that lies somewhere where now I have to act out in this manner. And so, again, because I have to fight for my love.
Right.
I got to fight for I got to just hold on to dear life.
Yeah.
And it's, again, I guess another characteristic for me as I identify love, it's supposed to be smooth and easy.
Flows.
You don't have to hold on to it because it's there.
Exactly. Well, and it's funny because I keep talking about my book, but I was writing last night, and the very thing I was writing last night was flow.
Yeah.
Allowing things to flow when, as opposed to trying to force everything.
Yeah.
Now, there's a place for, pushing and striving and that kind of thing, but I think when it comes to love, sometimes you've got to just be able to have faith and just lay back and let things flow.
So my question is, do you trust?
Yeah.
Again,
That's
another
a big one.
Maybe another, for me, identifying what love is.
Yeah.
Like, how much trust do you really have? And it's, again, you could say in others, but with yourself first.
Right.
Because if you can trust you can trust others, which, again, for me, in my definition of love, I think is a part of the identification of it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's almost the root. I mean, if you can trust in God, trust in you, trust in other. I mean, yeah, trust is huge.
Because it's a bridge. Yeah.
It is. And I see people texting my personal phone with comments and questions. Text this number, 613-5857. That's how your messages will get on the air. 678-613-5857. Talk to you soon. Talk to you.
Major key alert. Life is like school. You will be tested, so pass it.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at GetSchooled.com. Brought to you by Get Schooled and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. You know, I help people solve difficult problems every day, but one problem has me stumped: childhood hunger. Nearly 16 million children in America struggle with it. Luckily, the Feeding America network of local food banks collects surplus food, giving hope to hungry children and their families. But they need your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
I'm more resourceful than I thought.
My suit can still make an impression.
My video games are still game changers.
And my lamp can bring others a bright future.
Because when I donate my stuff to Goodwill,
it helps fund job placement and training for people right in my community.
Now my stuff gets a second chance.
And will give someone in my community
a second chance too.
Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. That's goodwill.org. This message brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
There's a power you have within you, unlike any other. You can't explain it. It's just there. It drives you, compels you. You cannot ignore it. Do you feel it? It's that power that tells you you can do the absolute impossible. The power that tells you you're more than what you currently are. The power that tells you it's time. Launch. Move. Skyrocket your life with Rocket Sports One fitness gear. RocketSports-One.com.
Lack of diversity. Gas prices.
Michael Jackson. Trending topics.
All right, welcome back to Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and we got a text that came in from Benita Rainey.
Yes,
and she said, "Don't struggle against the universe by struggling against the moment."
That is like awesomely profound.
That's like I gotta like process this. I gotta process this. Don't struggle against the universe by struggling against the moment. That's good. Yeah, let it flow. This is her response to the idea of flowing.
I think for me with that profound statement, because I'm like my brain is working like blah, 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 but what I feel, universe, source, whatever again the name you want to use, it provides.
Yes.
It is always providing in every moment, no matter what. And many times when we're in our moments, we have a choice to the experience.
Right.
And sometimes we choose the experience to what we've defined it in the past. So I love how you said, don't struggle with the, in the moment, because again, there's still an ease and flow, and we have a choice. We have alternatives to be in that ease and flow, or we can make it more difficult than what it's supposed to be.
Right.
So I don't know.
Right.
That's how I perceive that. So just thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was great. And so, So we're talking about self-love. Are we in the trending topics? We are in the trending topics. Okay.
Where are we?
I just got so caught up in the depth of what she said. I was just like, whoa, this is good stuff. So another interesting time, and I pulled this one because I'm a nerd, okay? So this one's about Albert Einstein.
All right. Yes, yes. Do tell.
So Albert Einstein's handwritten theory about happiness just sold for 1.56 million. So he just scribbled on a piece of paper and said, here's what I think about the secret of happiness. And he wrote it to, I guess he was in a restaurant and he put it on his receipt to the waitress. And it just sold for 1.6 million. You want to know what his secret to happiness is?
Please, do tell.
So his secret to happiness is, these are the two things he wrote. The first one was, a calm and modest life brings more happiness than the pursuit of success combined with constant restlessness. So I'll read that again. A calm and modest life brings more happiness than the pursuit of success combined with constant restlessness.
I can say, yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah, that's his. So Einstein focused on science and physics and all of that, but he had some ideas about happiness. So here's his other one.
Okay.
This is deep now.
Okay.
Brace yourself.
All right.
I don't know if you've heard this one before.
Already.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Which gets back to Benita's point. It gets back to Benita's
Does it?
point.
Okay. And Benita's point was, I had it written. Where did I put it?
It gets back to, okay, she shared something about the universe.
She said, don't struggle against the universe by struggling against the moment.
Okay, and then repeat what
Einstein said, where there's a will, there's a way.
So again, going just with the flow. Universe has everything for us.
Yes.
And it's by choice to choose if there's will. So if you have opportunity, if you have a desire, there will always be a way. So why fret?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just,
and I believe that the desires that we have are rooted in our purpose. I don't think that we just randomly there's some nasty desires that people have and that kind of thing. I understand that. I'm talking about those deeply seated desires of our hearts, that are rooted in our hearts, that those things that we yearn for, that we really want to see happen. Those are rooted in our purpose. So if we move forward with those things, I do believe that what we need will fall into place to help manifest those things.
That law of attraction.
The law of attraction.
It's just it's there. And really sitting in ease with that. If you really sit and reflect and just be in that. Again, the act of love. Slowing down and really finding what it is that how does this mean to you? Because so that you can really grasp it from your thoughts to your cells to your whole body.
Right.
Therefore, it can act in the moment of love for you.
Yes.
And it just moves. Anyway, I'm probably being deep, but just moving in that.
Yes, I love it.
So yeah, I think
I love it.
She's on that Bonita. Go get it, Bonita. Yes.
Yes. Okay. But there was another story. Oh my gosh, I'm probably not going to do her name right. Lupita Nyong'o. She's the actress. She's been in several movies. Selma, 12 Years a Slave. Well, she joins the 50 women in accusing Harvey Weinstein of sexual harassment. And one of the things I read her account earlier this week, and it was just, and it was so disturbing, because she did a lot to stand up for herself, and she did a lot she was really, and here's the issue with sexual harassment, is she was trying to leverage the opportunity or weigh the opportunity versus the risk. So this guy, some of the things that he's doing, and it wasn't, at first just flat out sexual harassment. It was more bullying, because she had mentioned that they went out to a restaurant. She ordered water. He insisted that she had a drink, and he was just like, no, you will get a drink. And I mean, he was just very adamant about that.
Yeah.
So at that point, she's thinking, okay, he's one of the most powerful men in Hollywood, and she did resist the drink. She finally said, okay, order the drink, but she never touched it.
Right.
So but she's weighing, okay, here's the most powerful man in Hollywood. I'm new. Still in school.
Yeah.
I have this opportunity, but there's something wrong with him. So it seemed that she she was battling that the whole time, and her instincts were absolutely correct. So there were times where he asked, to meet him in private places. And, once she realized what kind of person he is, she refused.
Yeah.
Even to the point where he said, well, your career is going to be over. So your career is going to suffer.
You know what I can't stand? And this is where I still got to find the love for this man anyway. But the accountability and responsibility that he has.
Right.
And for me, it goes back to everything who has a place of, we call power or position. It's like, where's your responsibility and accountability to yourself and what it is that you're portraying? Because for me,
you're assuming we're talking about people with integrity.
Well, yeah, you're right. Yeah. You're right.
Wait, hold that thought, because
Okay.
we're going to come back after the break and we'll finish this conversation. We'll be right back.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
I'm an American soldier. I'm a warrior and a member of a team.
I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place finish first.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit.
I will never leave a fallen comrade. I am disciplined.
I am disciplined.
Physically and mentally tough.
Trained and proficient in my warrior task and drill.
I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself.
I am an expert and I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
There's strong, and there's Army Strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change, called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
We're more connected than ever before. 90% of America's students use some form of social media, but not all of it's used in a good way. Hurtful posts online are leading to social isolation for many. Psychologists say it's bullying in a brand new way. Well, Beyond Differences and I Keep Safe are looking to change that with ideas for students, their parents, and even teachers. Take the pledge to be kind online and learn more at wearekindonline.com.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, and father of 5. I'm also an expert on drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids, and there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
And lead the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
1 in 7 Americans will struggle with addiction during their lifetime. Want to know how you can help? Go to heretolisten.com for tips and tools to help turn addiction around. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the Live Exchange. Dr. Pamela. Yes. So we're talking about self-love and love and all that, but we were talking about Einstein. We were talking about Einstein, but this time we're talking about Weinstein.
Okay.
And how Lupita Nyong'o was saying that he was very forceful with her in terms of something as simple as a drink And even that sent red flags up for her. There was one occasion in which he said, come to my, they were watching a screening, and he said, come to my room. And she thought that was really weird.
Yeah.
And give me a massage. And she's like, what the heck? But she did say, well, in the film industry, we do a lot of things like that. So, but it got too weird for her. And in every future occasion to be alone with him, she absolutely resisted in private. So, and there was one last time where he said, come to my room. I've made arrangements for us to have dinner in my room. And she's like, no, thank you.
I'm good.
And that's when he said, well, your career's over.
Yeah, and that's when you have to make that choice. And again, another loving act about identifying what love is, and for you and for others. But it's just like when you just have to say, no, I'm going to trust myself.
Yes.
And what's being shared with me, and nobody has the capability to stop you.
Right.
Because what's for you is for you. And again, I think what I was sharing earlier, I'm just like, it's sad to say that there's many people who, when they get into power, and you were sharing about the integrity thing, where there's a loss of responsibility and accountability. For me, it's just like as you gain and there's more responsibility.
Yeah.
And you just loosen your responsibility.
So much is given, much is required.
Yeah. And it's like, no, I'm going to pass that. I'm just going to do whatever I want. It's going to come up. It's going to come back on you.
It will come back as it's coming back now.
Yeah, it's going to
absolutely. And not to say that because Lupita was resistant and, and she probably did, I think, what I may have done in that situation. I probably would have entertained the idea of dinner, and even after he showed himself to be a jerk the first time, just to kind of see, is there an opportunity here? But then when it got too far, she just completely severed ties.
Yeah.
But just, I want to make it clear that the other women who may have found themselves in a really dangerous situation, who didn't resist in the way that Lupita did, are, I don't necessarily fault them either, because when you are in a situation where you have got this person of power and you're terrified and you're young, people have different coping mechanisms. And it may not be the way that Lupita address the situation. So I want to make it very clear that it's still not, we don't want to put it on the women who are victimized in this situation.
No, by no means.
Because Weinstein was totally out of line.
And that's why I said the responsibility and accountability. And again, many times we are presented in situations, and it's just like, and you make decisions based off of what it is that you either know,
your
what you've been taught,
your background.
Right. And again, it's not to disown or disarm, because anybody who can get out of a situation alive and it be where you come back whole, you ended whole and came back whole, that's fine. And again, love on yourself, be kind to yourself, be gentle to yourself. And we have a wayward society where they will condemn the victim.
Yes.
And it's just like, and it's sad.
I had a friend on Facebook recently post, we got in a pretty long debate about this. But his question that he posed was, there are uniforms for certain things. There are uniforms for firefighters, for police officers, but there are also uniforms for people who sell themselves for sex. And so his question was, can we fault a man who mistakes a woman dressed a certain way because he thinks she's wearing a certain uniform to approach her in a certain manner because of the way that she's dressed?
Oh, you gonna ask me? Oh,
think about it, because we're gonna go into the research.
Okay,
first.
okay. Yes.
In the interest of science.
Okay, so this science is one of my favorite theories, and I have talked about it before, but I got to talk about it again. So, if you haven't heard it, you got to hear it. If you've already heard it, you got to hear it again. So this is The Stages of Ethics of Care by Carol Gilligan. So she designed this theory in response to all of the other moral development theories that are out there that were developed by men. Her thing was, I think that there is a different way that women approach morality. So this was the way her thought was that we approach morality from more of a relationship standpoint, as opposed to good, bad, right, wrong, left wing, right wing, that kind of thing. So But what I have learned as I've presented this theory to different places, taught it in class, the guys will raise their hand and say, but no, I identify with that too. So it really is translating more into a human theory that, as opposed to male or female. But what it basically says is that there's 3 different stages that we experience as we are from a relationship standpoint. Okay. So there's 3 stages: pre-conventional, conventional, and post-conventional. In between those stages are transitions. So the pre-conventional stage says the goal is individual survival. I find this synonymous with survival is self-love.
Is that right?
You know? So the goal is individual survival. In other words, I don't trust anyone. I'm keeping to myself.
Okay.
I don't really want people around me. I'm not going to have close, intimate relationships. Keeping people at a distance.
Right.
The transition between pre-conventional and conventional is, wow, I think I do want to connect to others.
Okay.
So now they have a desire to connect with others. I've been isolated for too long. So then they transition into stage 2, which is the conventional stage.
Okay.
Conventional stage is self-sacrifice is goodness, meaning I'm going to give everything I have for this relationship so that you can accept me. And even if it's to my own detriment. So I want to be liked and seen as good, so I will do whatever it takes to make you happy, even at the expense of my own health and peace of mind. So we've gone from survival, isolation, to I'll do whatever I need to do. Yes, I'll pay your bills. I'll pay your rent.
Everything.
You're faithful. All that. But then, so at some point, though, that wears on a person, right? And so the transition between this stage and the next is truth, from goodness to truth. So you understand that goodness is not always about sacrificing everything about yourself, but the truth is, I have needs too.
Right.
And so you transition into a stage of it's called, the last stage, post-conventional, is the principle of nonviolence. Okay. So what Gilligan means by violence in this particular scenario is that I will not inflict harm on you, and I will not allow you to inflict harm on me. Verbally, harm can be you just ignore me and you don't value my presence or my opinion. Right. So this is a stage that says I have needs, and this is not selfish. I'm still good, even though I have my own needs, and I can care for myself and I can care for others at the same time.
Wow.
So it's this evolution from survival mode to sacrificing everything to understanding I'm not going to allow any violence to be inflicted on me or anybody else. So that's the theory. We'll be right back on the Live Exchange.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on 2 things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Viola Davis. Did you know that 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger? Growing up, I was one of those kids. But we can solve this. When we make breakfast happen for kids in our neighborhood, we have the power to end childhood hunger, create bigger, brighter school days, and healthier minds and bodies. Go to hungeris.org and lend your time or your voice.
We're hungry for more.
A message from the Albertsons Companies Foundation and the Entertainment Industry Foundation.
Okay, so 5 tacos of cheese and a large soda. That's $10,012. Please drive around.
Wait, 10,000 what?
It's obvious you're buzzed and driving.
I've only had a few. I'm fine.
Yeah, the food's $12, but getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Please drive around. Actually, just park and come in.
Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You've accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, Show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela. Now, I just shared a theory. Well, I'm joined with Danelle Porcher. I need to acknowledge who's here with me.
I'm here.
Yes, she's here. And we just talked about the stages of care by Carol Gilligan. And one of my favorite theories, because it just really looks at relationships and why we react the way we do. And I'm curious to know if you had any thoughts or...
For me, it's like it's very timely, and it's just like moving from each one of them from, I want to make sure I'm saying the conceptual or no.
Pre-conventional
to conventional to post-conventional. I think that in any relationship, I feel like there's where everybody experiences both, because sometimes it's one of those things, or at least for me, let me speak for myself, I feel like I can relate to the pre-conventional, where I feel like for 3 years there was like I just didn't date. I was like, no, I'm getting my life coach, I'm getting personally life coach, this like this. People coming in, I ain't interested. No, thank you, because I've been hurt. And then going to the conventional state where the current relationship, where it was like and I'm willing to say, just give, I'm here, and now I'm in a space where it's post conventional, where I'm just like, look, it needs to be a balance. And I'm not saying this is what I did, and so I can't speak for anyone else, but again, finding that balance. What does love look like? How is it that I want to show up? And is my partner, my best friend, my lover willing to grow in those aspects with me as we grow together and support each other and all that good stuff, and say that we love each other. So, and that's where I feel like, okay, people have going back to the social media thing where, oh, superficial love, or, oh, this is what this is. But when it gets down to the work aspect, and again, not it being hard and difficult, but actually putting energy behind that, okay? Because to me, that's another aspect, or another identification for me as what love is.
Yeah, that's good.
It's not where it's just, okay, oh, I love you too, okay. No, okay, I don't like you right now, but... let's see how we can work through this.
Yeah.
So,
and you just made me think about how the different layers of self-love, with the survivalist, the superficial, the deep, the romantic, can play out in a couple, so that couple can be at a stage where they're at a survivalist love together for each other within this relationship, and they are just fighting to survive as a couple. And we all know the romantic phase, yes. Right. So I know it's interesting. It's got me thinking, like, I need to explore that a little bit.
No, it's like, again, it's learning in the presence of someone that you love, and I think it gets down to, again, in all relationships, whether it's friendships, with what Crystal was sharing earlier about her friend. And again, what is your loving act towards her? So we're always in this state of love, or having an opportunity to love not only others, but ourselves. So how does that look like?
How does that,
And maybe it redefines itself in every moment. So, there's not one settled definition.
Or within every dynamic, there's probably a different way that plays out. Because I know certainly there are different ways that it plays out, even between my son and myself, my daughter and myself, my parents and myself. There's different ways that the love plays out, between all of us.
Definitely.
So, so we can't have a cookie cutter approach to this is love. This is what I got. And that's another thing, is that when, for example, the 5 love languages, that's one thing that I did want to get into. But the point of the 5 love languages is to find out how the person you love wants to be loved, and love them that way. And not just how you don't just love everybody the way you expect to be loved, because that might not necessarily translate into love for the other person.
That's so groundbreaking, and I have yet to read the book. That was one of my to-do lists as far as reading that book, but to me it's just so profound, because again, in your action of being committed to finding and discovering how this person wants to love you, again, that's a display of love to them.
Right.
And again, you teach them in reverse how it is that you would like to be loved, and they have the willingness to discover that.
Right.
You know, that's love in itself, that exchange.
Well, that's like, you know, that's like, I love analogies. You know, if you want somebody to comb your hair for you, and, you know, everybody has different kind of hair. So or let me just say style their hair for you. Everybody has different type of hair. So if I sat down and the person wanted to style my hair and they pull out a comb, I'm like, I got locks. You know, it's not how my hair is supposed to be loved. You know, so you can't. You know, just because they use a comb and a brush and hairspray or whatever they use, that doesn't fit me. You know, so you have to get to know what my hair needs and what my locks need, and adapt to that.
Very nice, and be willing to do that.
Be willing to do it. Yeah.
Another idea of love, will. Like, you could be ready, but not willful.
Right.
Not willing to participate in a way that is conducive not only for yourself but others. So,
and that is totally okay, as long as you are not trying to love. As long as you choose to stay alone until that part is, until you've gotten over that.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay. And we get to that point in our lives sometimes where I'm not willing to, you know, extend myself. I'm not willing to learn about somebody else. That's fine. So use this as a time for self-development, self-care, self-love. And when you are ready, it's not fair to the other person.
And that's love. What you just explained, that's love for yourself. That is a form of love for you to be able to recognize, for you to be able to say, hey, I'm just not in this space to do this anymore. And I'm willing to say, I can't give this to you right now. Or I cannot perform in the way or be in the way that you're wanting me to. So I'm going to appreciate this. That is a loving act.
Yeah.
And being silent, share that.
Right.
You know, so.
And we have to be willing to, well, we don't have to be, but it would be great if we were willing to communicate this to people, because so many relationships people get led on. You know, this is when we see all the cheating happening and all the lying happening because that person, you know, is just not ready. And honestly, it is okay to not be ready.
Exactly.
It's okay to not be ready. But
Speak your truth.
It's not okay to be dishonest about that.
Yeah.
You know?
Because that's not loving then. That's not loving to the other person. And especially, it's not loving to you because you're dishonoring the love that, hey, I'm just not simply in a space to give something that I just don't want to give right now for whatever the reason may. You just might not simply have it in you.
Right, right. Well, we did get a text from somebody else, and it says, it was pretty long, but the gist of it was, it was like a dissertation. Now, you guys can call.
Yes.
The number is 678-613-5857. But this one was talking about love. You know, love is giving. It takes many forms, like honesty and respect, and it can inform, or it can come in the form of setting boundaries, and it also can come in the form of setting someone free.
Very nice.
Yeah.
It's recently, I just came up with something, and shout out to my vocal coach and all the folks out here who, again, are part of the SOAR Village and everything. Sometimes it's just not loving to have somebody in your space to what they can't give. At some point, you're not loving to them.
Right.
It's just not love.
Yeah.
Especially if it's something that you recognize and you see that the person cannot fulfill this for you, and it's a continued request after request. At some point, you have to let them go.
Yeah.
And set them free, and it just be like, you may want to be here, but you're just not present.
Right.
So my act to you right now is not loving.
You're right. Absolutely.
I don't know. Your
It's
thoughts?
violence. I mean, this last section here for post-conventional, you know, the principle of nonviolence, what it is it's inflicting violence upon yourself and upon the other person. And, you know, it's like at some point.
That's a good point.
Just gotta let that go. Yeah.
Just gotta let you go. It's
Yeah.
all right. I really want it to work, but it's just not working.
Right.
So,
Right. Yeah.
Whew.
So.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much. So one thing that I do want to highlight is that for those of you who are in Milwaukee, I will be in Milwaukee this Saturday doing a writer's workshop called Writers Unblock. It's for, and it's for Arnita International. I think I'm saying it wrong, but Arnita Holloman is the one who is creating this event. And I will be there to offer my humble information about writing and publishing to the aspiring writers in the Milwaukee and greater Milwaukee area. So I am really looking forward to it. If you guys are interested, hit me me up. Find me on Facebook, Empowered, or any social media, Empowered Writer, and you can find the information there. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to be in Milwaukee this weekend. It's going to be cold.
Yes.
But I got some warm clothes. Yes. Stay with us and we'll be right back.
This is my Mac Daddy vibe I'm giving you in all of its splendor. What's up?
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made. And not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
There's a power you have within you, unlike any other. You can't explain it. It's just there. It drives you, compels you. You cannot ignore it. Do you feel it? It's that power that tells you you can do the absolute impossible. The power that tells you you're more than what you currently are. The power that tells you it's time. Launch, move, skyrocket your life with Rocket Sports One fitness gear. RocketSports-One.com.
This is big business. This is the American way.
Station Network.
See ya.
Keeping your balance with Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela.
Okay, so this week's Balance Challenge is for you to love yourself this week. Come up with a new way. You may say, oh, girl, I love myself every day. Find a new way. I want you to stretch yourself and come up with a new way to love yourself this week. I know that earlier I shared that I am going to ask for what I want as opposed to just thinking I have to take care of everything on my own.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that's beautiful.
So yes, what way can you do a better job of loving yourself? For some people it does mean going to the spa, but that doesn't mean, that's not for everybody. That's not necessarily what everybody needs. So you know you. What is it that you need? One of the things that I wanted to share today was the 5 love languages. And so this may give you some idea about how you can love yourself this week.
Wonderful.
Because we talk about the 5 love languages as how we can love our partner, but we don't always think about it how we can love ourselves.
Yep.
So the 5 love languages are words of affirmation, physical touch, receiving gifts, quality time, and acts of service. So the premise of this philosophy is basically that we all have 1 or 2 that we gravitate to the most. And so for myself, it's definitely physical touch and quality time. Those are the ones that, you know, so if I were to think of how am I going to love myself in my love language this week, well, I can touch myself.
Ooh, yes.
Or, you know, one of the ways I talk about commonly is getting a massage.
Yeah.
You know, for physical, I mean, for me, you know, that physical touch is very calming and it's very soothing. And so if I'm changing mine. I'll ask for what I want this week. But my loving myself this week is I'm going to go get a good massage.
That's one. You see how she chose right on it. Just, hey, no, I'm going to switch over here and do this. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, and then quality time. In order for myself to love myself in terms of quality time is me going off somewhere. I'm an introvert, and you know, with my book and some wine and good food, and I am happy.
Just enjoy yourself.
I'm good.
That's awesome.
So so that's how. Now you'd have to take. They have a test and everything for that you would take, and you kind of get an understanding of what your love languages would be. But based on what's here, what would you guess your love language would be? I'll say them again. There's words of affirmation, like "Ooh, girl, you fine."
Okay.
Physical touch, receiving gifts, quality time, Or acts of service, like I'm going to go, clean your house for you or something like that.
Honestly, in this moment, it would be the affirmations and the quality time as well.
Okay.
So again, what I had shared earlier during the top of the hour balance challenge, for me, it's now being in the mode of allowing myself to be performance mode.
Right.
And be the part, in preparation for Sunday. And so before I had my business hat on, and I'm like, okay, take care of this, and having people that I'm paying to take on the rest of like, okay, now this is yours. You got to answer everything until Sunday is over with.
Right.
And so for me, it's that quality time. I am addressing the quality time. This is what I need for this moment. So that's what I'm doing. And the affirmations, self-chatter. I talk about in Source self-chatter. What does your self-chatter look like?
Yes.
How you chatting to yourself. So,
that's good.
Those are my two.
And those are good clues. If you think that words of affirmation may be your love language, how are you talking to yourself? That's a way that you can practice self-love this week. That's great. I love it. I love it. And, there's this chart that I found for the love languages that kind of talks about what to avoid, how to communicate with a person who has this love language and the actions to take. And I can post it later, but I'll just give you an example. So since we'll use words of affirmation. How to communicate with somebody who has words of affirmation as their love language. You encourage them, you affirm them, appreciate them, empathize with them, and listen actively.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So that's how you can show in a communicative way that you love them. Actions to take. Send an unexpected note, text, or card. Encourage genuinely and often. And then things to avoid. Non-constructive criticism. Not recognizing or appreciating effort. So, so it's almost
That's
like
nice.
that. This column is how you can inflict violence on the person that you love.
Right.
By doing those things, because they're going to be specifically in objection to the very thing that they love. So if somebody is a words of affirmation person and you're talking down to them, that's probably one of the worst things that you can do to them. Yeah.
Yes.
So
that's good stuff.
Yes, this is an amazing chart. I love it. I wish I can go through the whole thing, but I will post it. Yes. So stay with us. Are we done? Okay, not yet. We'll be right back.
When it comes to saving money, don't act like a baby.
Goo goo gaga.
Be the boss and make a budget.
I'm the boss, baby.
You're not the boss of me.
I am the boss of you.
Are not.
M2.
Are not.
M2.
Need a little help?
Aren't you going to do any work?
I'm very busy delegating.
Create a personalized savings plan.
We could share.
You obviously didn't go to business school.
And get other tools and tips at feedthepig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and we are wrapping it up.
Where'd the time go?
Yeah, the time just went. Love. I love love. I can do a show on love every week. And so we are going to close it out with a poem by Danelle Porcher.
Okay, you guys ready? All right, here we go.
Yep.
Excuse me for the moment. I'm saving what is mine, my life. Confusing as it may seem, I've realized two things hindering me and my belief. Now relentless I will be in every effort in saving me. Refined, for I have regained and how to really, really see me. Identifying while expressing this love that's flowing from me. Heavy is the burden should you go against this selfless act. I am singing for my life. Resurrecting me with my very own written words, pouring through the very expressions gifted, so time and time again, I'm always in every hour in the act of saving what is mine, my life. Thank you.
Yes!
Be in the act of your love.
Yes. Saving what is yours.
Yes.
I love it. This is good stuff. So, y'all, this is going to be happening on Sunday. If you want more of that, you want to be in the room on Sunday.
Yes. Synchronicity Theater. 1 to 6 p.m. is the vendor celebration food. 3 p.m. is the performance. We start on theater time, 3 p.m. And just come and soar with us. Come celebrate you, okay? All right?
That's great. And I will be in Milwaukee on Saturday talking writing. And in 3 weeks, Women, Wine, and Wisdom, in Lawrenceville, Georgia. You want to be there. Oh, and there's a competition if you want to guest host with me. Go to the page and you'll find it. So thank you for turning into the Live Exchange, where we exchange compelling dialogue around love, politics, and intellect every Thursday from 11 to 1 right here on the Sensation Station. If you miss any part of the show or you want to catch up on a past show, go to www.theliveexchangeradio.com.
Yes.
And I'm Dr. Pamela, and this is Danelle Porcher. And remember, love yourself to life, dance confidently in the dark, and dream wildly unrealistic dreams. Have a great week.